They lied to you from the start. Buried deep within your conscience is a mental poison disguised as selflessness and morality, wrapped in religion and stitched into childhood stories. They told you that to be good, you must sacrifice. But what if this virtue was a trap designed to keep you weak and compliant? The truth is brutal. Selfishness is the first rule of power, and the world rewards those who dominate, not those who serve. Are you ready to break free? The powerful do not apologize for choosing themselves. They do not explain. They do not wait for permission. And while you were taught to bleed for others, they were learning how to drink from the blood of fools who confuse self-sacrifice with strength. Every time you gave your time, your energy, your loyalty to people who wouldn't do the same for you, you lost. Every time you said yes when your soul screamed no, you were breaking your own spine for the comfort of parasites. That guilt they put in you, it's a leash, and you've been wearing it your whole life. But there comes a moment, a cold awakening moment, when you realize that being good is a costume. And you're not here to wear costumes anymore. You're here to win. And winners are selfish, not careless, not cruel, but calculated, focused, unapologetically centered on their own rise. Because no one will ever build your empire for you. You either serve your ambition or you serve someone else's. And that is the most important decision of your life. The most dangerous prison is the one you don't know you're in. And selflessness is that invisible cage. From the earliest moments of your life, they condition you to believe that the highest virtue is to abandon yourself for others, to be the one who gives without asking, to serve without reward, to carry burdens that aren't yours. They made you believe that sacrifice is noble, that if you keep giving pieces of yourself away, one day the world will return the favor. But the world doesn't return favors. It devours the naive and exalts the ruthless. The idea of selflessness was designed not to uplift you, but to neutralize you. If you're too busy giving everything away, you'll never have the time, strength, or focus to build your own power. Understand this. Selflessness is a tool used by the powerful to keep the weak useful. It is an elegant lie. When you give too much, people don't respect you. They expect it. The more available you are, the more invisible you become. They don't admire your sacrifice. They exploit it. You don't earn loyalty by giving endlessly. You earn it by being rare, by being valuable, by being someone who chooses when and how to give, and never out of obligation. The ones who give without boundaries are always the first to be abandoned when times get tough. No one clings to the selfless when the game turns bloody. They cling to the strong, and the strong don't bleed for everyone. Every empire has been built by the selfish. Not the careless, not the foolish, but the strategically selfish. The kind who put their vision above opinions, their mission above relationships, their time above anyone else's comfort. The selfish don't hate others. They simply refuse to betray themselves. They understand that their energy is currency, and they spend it where it multiplies. While you waste your days fixing other people's messes, someone else is building their kingdom without apology. While you make sure everyone is okay, someone else is making sure they get paid. The powerful don't feel guilty about putting themselves first. They feel guilty when they waste time on people who don't matter. Ask yourself, when was the last time being selfless made you powerful? When did saying yes out of guilt ever get you closer to what you really wanted? How often did you shrink yourself just to make someone else feel comfortable? And what did it earn you? Nothing but resentment. They still left. They still betrayed you. They still took you for granted. The harsh truth is, no one respects the one who gives everything. They only respect the one who could give everything, but doesn't. That's power, restraint, not obedience, control, not surrender. They want you to believe that being selfish means being evil, that if you prioritize yourself, you'll become some heartless monster. But that fear is just another leash. The real monsters are the ones who expect your loyalty while giving none. the ones who drain you and call it love, the ones who benefit from your silence, your compliance, your self-erasure. They fear your selfishness because it threatens their control. Because once you choose yourself, you stop playing by their rules. You stop feeding their illusion that you're there to serve them. Machiavelli understood this centuries ago. Appearances matter more than intentions, and power respects power. A man who gives too much is seen as desperate, weak, soft. But a man who gives selectively on his terms is seen as commanding. As a leader, as someone who must be earned, that's the paradox. The less you give, the more people want from you. The more you say no, the more your yes becomes priceless. You don't owe your life to anyone who didn't help build it. You don't owe your time to anyone who treats it like it's free. And you don't owe your loyalty to anyone who sees you as a tool instead of a force. You want to be powerful. Stop explaining. Stop apologizing. Time, energy, focus. These are not renewable. They are the currencies of kings, the blood of your empire. Every time you give them away without calculation, you bleed for free. And in the world of power, that's suicide. The truly powerful guard their resources like tyrants, not out of fear, but out of ruthless clarity. They understand that every yes is a no to something greater. Every moment wasted on meaningless people, pointless conversations, or petty obligations is a moment stolen from domination, growth, and strategic advantage. You think being generous makes you loved. It doesn't. It makes you accessible. And accessibility kills mystique. It destroys leverage. The more available you are, the less valuable you become. People begin to assume you'll always be there, always pick up the call, always drop everything for them. But the second you withdraw, the second you vanish, the second you stop being their convenience, they panic. Why? Because deep down, they knew they were feeding on you. They just hoped you'd never realize it. The selfish don't waste time arguing, proving, or explaining. They cut coldly, quietly, and they don't look back. They eliminate distractions like a surgeon removes tumors. No hesitation, no sentiment. The only thing worse than wasting your own resources is letting someone else waste them for you. And make no mistake, most people don't care how drained you are, how behind you fall, how much of your future you burn for them. As long as you keep serving, they'll keep feeding. They'll call it friendship. They'll call it family. But in truth, it's exploitation masked as love. Power begins the moment you recognize this. And stop apologizing for pulling the plug. Ask yourself, who's draining you? What's distracting you? Where is your energy going that's not coming back multiplied? You cannot conquer anything if your attention is scattered. If your time belongs to everyone but you. The powerful live by this rule. Nothing is free. Not your time, not your presence, not your advice, not your energy. Every minute is either an investment or a loss. And every person in your life is either an asset or a liability. You don't have to announce who's getting cut. You just act. Let silence be your reply, absence be your revenge, and growth be your final statement. The world respects what it cannot easily reach. The man who says no with conviction. The woman who walks away without flinching. The individual who prioritizes their mission over meaningless attachment. You think you're being noble by helping everyone? No, you're being used. The ones who drain you don't need more help. They need boundaries. They need silence. They need to face their own chaos instead of outsourcing it to you. But they never will, as long as you keep showing up like a loyal fool. The minute you stop, the mask falls. Their love turns into blame. Their praise turns into guilt trips. That's when you know it was never love. It was control. Protect your resources like a tyrant because no one else will. You weren't born to be a power outlet for the emotionally needy. You weren't put here to be the unpaid therapist for chaos addicts. You are here to build, to create, to dominate, to rise. And you don't owe explanations to anyone who doesn't help you build that. If they're not bringing value, they're extracting it. That's the law of power. You are either ascending or being used as a step for someone else's climb. So, be ruthless with your time. Be surgical with your energy. Be untouchable in your focus. Let them call you cold. Let them call you distant. Let them call you selfish. That's what people call those they can no longer control. And that's exactly what you must become. Uncontrollable. Because when your resources are protected, your mind is sharp, your moves are strategic, and your power becomes absolute. Selfishness is not cruelty, it's clarity, and the clear always dominate the confused. Weak men say yes to everything. Strong men say no, and they say it without flinching. If you want to understand power, watch how a man uses the word no. The world is full of parasites who will dress their demands in the language of friendship, love, duty. But at the core, they're trying to access your time, your energy, your mind. The man who cannot say no is not generous. He is powerless, a servant in disguise. You think you're being kind. You think you're being supportive. But what you're really doing is bleeding yourself dry to avoid discomfort. And in power, comfort is a weakness. You were taught that saying no makes you selfish. Good. That's the point. Every time you say no, you protect something vital. Your boundaries, your schedule, your momentum. The powerful don't say no out of arrogance. They say no because they have something more important to protect. Themselves, the empire they're building, the war they're winning, the focus they refuse to scatter. You think you're offending people by rejecting them, when in reality you're just drawing a line. And those who get offended by your boundaries were never here to respect you in the first place. They were here to use you. They love the access, not the person. You need to get comfortable being the villain in someone else's story. Let them call you heartless. Let them call you cold. Because behind those words is frustration. They can't control you anymore. And that's when power begins. When people stop assuming they own parts of you. When they stop treating your time like a public resource. When they hesitate before asking because now they know. You might say no. You might not pick up. You might choose yourself. This world worships the assertive, not the agreeable. They don't follow the ones who say yes to everyone. They follow the one who makes everyone wait. Think of every great ruler, every feared leader, every dominant force. They were not loved for their generosity. They were respected for their scarcity, for their limits, for the sense that being granted their attention meant something. You do not get that by always saying yes. You get that by weaponizing your no. Look around. The ones who rise are the ones who refuse to bend. The ones who get crushed are the ones trying to be liked. When you're afraid to say no, you're giving others the steering wheel to your life. You're outsourcing your direction. You're building someone else's dream while abandoning your own. And worse, you're teaching people that your boundaries are flexible, that you can be swayed, that your priorities are negotiable. Once you show them that, they'll never stop testing how much of yourself you're willing to give away. And if you're not careful, there will be nothing left. Say no, not with guilt, not with an explanation, but with finality. A clean, cold, unwavering no. No is a complete sentence. No doesn't need context. No doesn't need softness. You are not required to cushion your rejection for someone else's comfort. You are not here to make everyone feel okay. You are here to become undeniable. And that means cutting ruthlessly anything that dilutes your power, anything that distracts you from your mission, anything that drains more than it gives. The longer you delay mastering this word, the longer you stay average, the longer you stay in the grip of obligations that do nothing for your evolution. You cannot become powerful if you're constantly seeking approval. You cannot command respect if you can't enforce distance. You cannot build an empire with hands full of other people's demands. The first step to domination is simple. Say no without fear. The second step, don't explain why. And here's the secret. The moment you stop feeling bad for putting yourself first, you become dangerous, untouchable, clear. While others drown in emotional debt, you rise clean. While they lose days appeasing the loudest voices, you move in silence toward your next win. In the economy of power, nothing is free. Not your time, not your loyalty, not your attention. Everything has a price. And the moment you give something without extracting value in return, you've declared yourself cheap. The world doesn't reward the generous, it exploits them. Because generosity without control is just weakness in disguise. You think you're helping, but what you're really doing is training people to expect you for nothing. And once they expect you for nothing, they'll never respect you. They'll consume you like a free sample, tossed aside after use, forgotten the moment they're full. This is the truth they don't teach you. When you give freely, people don't thank you. They just adjust their standards. They believe access to you is normal, deserved, and the moment you pull back, they'll act betrayed. But that betrayal is only proof that they were never loyal to you. They were loyal to what they got from you. The benefits, the attention, the energy, the effort. Strip that away and their mask cracks. The gratitude disappears. The resentment comes out, and now you see them clearly. Not as friends or family, but as users, subtle emotional thieves wearing the smile of closeness. You must make your value expensive, your time rare, your approval earned. Don't give freely what others should be chasing. Power is built on scarcity. When your presence is predictable, your value declines. When your help is guaranteed, your image fades. You become just another option, one more name on the list. And the powerful are never optional. They are the prize, the question, the standard. Their attention shifts rooms. Their approval changes minds. And that's because they've trained the world. I don't come easy. I don't come free. This isn't cruelty. It's survival. If you want loyalty, make people work for it. If you want respect, set a price on your energy. If you want control, never let anyone forget. You are a limited resource. The moment someone thinks they can get something from you without effort, they stop respecting your worth. And when that happens, you've lost all leverage. Your words carry less weight. Your presence creates less gravity. You blend in with the crowd. And once you blend in, you become replaceable. There's a reason kings didn't mingle with the peasants. A reason generals don't explain their decisions to the foot soldiers. Power flows downward, not sideways, but to maintain that hierarchy. You must withhold. You must distance. You must make it clear. I am not like you. I don't give away my strength. I don't explain my silence. I don't give out favors like candy. If you want something from me, earn it, sacrifice for it, bleed for it, because only then does what I give carry weight. Only then do I stay above you. And if someone refuses to pay that price, let them go. The ones who resist your standards were never worth your presence. They only came for what they could take, not for what they could build. Let them call you arrogant. Let them say you've changed. Those are the words of people denied access. Their opinions mean nothing. Their noise is the cry of the entitled. You don't owe them a response. You owe yourself peace, progress, power, and you cannot have those if your life is a charity for the unworthy. So never give anything for free. Not your time, not your secrets, not your guidance, not your effort. Everything must cost something, even if that cost is respect, loyalty, or discipline. Make people pay with attention. Make them pay with consistency. Make them pay with improvement. Otherwise, stop feeding them. You are not the world's emotional provider. You are not the unpaid coach. You are not the free refueling station for the lost and lazy. You are a fortress, a weapon, a standard. The selfish understand this. They don't pour into everyone. They don't bend to pressure. They don't explain their silence. They simply give nothing unless something greater comes back. You were taught to give, to share, to be kind. You were told that selflessness is the mark of a good human, and maybe it is. But a good human and a powerful force are not the same thing. The world doesn't reward the kindest. It obeys the strongest. The man who wins isn't the one with the warmest heart. It's the one who knows when to harden it. The one who understands that every act of selflessness must be calculated, not compulsive. Because unchecked selflessness leads to one destination: slavery. You'll serve, you'll bend, you'll deplete, and still they'll ask for more. And when you finally break, no one will pick up your pieces, because the world has no mercy for those who spent their lives serving it. It only salutes those who commanded it. Look around the rich, the feared, the respected. None of them are selfless. They may pretend to be. They may disguise it in branding, but underneath the surface is steel. Cold, sharp, selfish steel. They didn't get to the top by being available to everyone. They didn't say yes to every call. They didn't give their time to people who hadn't earned it. They preserved themselves like a rare weapon, unsheathed only when the kill mattered. That's power to be needed more than you need anyone else. To be the sun, everyone orbits, not the lost planet begging for gravity. You want to know why most people stay invisible? Because they've been taught to trade their power for acceptance. They've been taught that being liked is more important than being feared. They've been taught that saying yes makes them loved when it only makes them used. They silence themselves to keep peace. They shrink themselves to avoid judgment, and they call that virtue. It's not virtue, it's voluntary weakness, and power despises the weak. So be selfish. Wake up and think about you, your mission, your energy, your edge. Stop apologizing for protecting your time. Stop explaining your standards. Stop feeling bad for cutting people off. You don't owe anyone your destruction just to prove your loyalty. You don't owe anyone your light just because they're stuck in the dark. If they want access to you, they better rise to your level. And if they can't, leave them behind. This is not cruelty. This is evolution. Selfishness doesn't mean harming others. It means refusing to harm yourself for others. It means refusing to be drained just to be liked. It means refusing to bow to the pressure of emotional beggars, manipulators, and parasites. It means standing so firm in your purpose that anything not aligned with it is instantly discarded. No guilt, no hesitation, no mourning. You're not here to save everyone. You're here to become something rare, something powerful, something unforgettable. That doesn't happen by pleasing. That happens by cutting. Power is not handed to the polite. It is taken by the cold. You will lose people. You will be misunderstood. You will be called ruthless. And that's how you know you're doing it right. Because when people can no longer manipulate your emotions, they start to question your morality. Let them. Let them talk. Let them hate. You're not in this for their comfort. You're in this for control, for dominance, for legacy. So let this be your law. Be selfish. Ruthlessly, strategically, unapologetically, because only then will the world finally treat you like the threat you were born to be. If this hit you hard, if it woke up something cold and powerful inside you, like the video, subscribe to the channel and share this with someone who's been giving too much for far too long. This world doesn't need more nice guys. It needs more unshakable ones.